Hello. Hello. Hi, Rama. Hi, Radhika. So let's start. So Rama, yesterday that job description that you shared. So I went through it. So it
Okay.
was more of a database type of a job description. It was like they required OLTP and the OLAPs, right, which was basically data warehouses. So
Okay.
they also mentioned that ETL tools that were required in that, the SSIS and all. So I think that won't be the best, the job to apply right now on the tools that you have learned.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be more into like the analyst role type of job where you like Tableau, Power BI, those kind of tools are.
Okay.
Yeah, you will
Uh,
be more responsible for creating reports and everything.
okay. And there is any difference in like Tableau developer and analyst? Is there any difference, Amit? So
No,
what
no,
is
that's
the
same.
same? Okay.
There
Okay.
are multiple. There are multiple. The name, the titles are used. So
Okay.
some call it a Tableau developer, some data analyst, or the some people call business analyst also. So that is how they call it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I mean, we should change our resume or
No, actually,
because
what happens is that the job recruiters, they search by just some keywords. So now if
okay.
SQL is coming in your resume, so they think that the person will be knowing all
No,
these things.
OLAP is in my resume.
I mean, they would have found SQL in that, right? So like SQL
Okay.
is there. So based on
Okay.
that, because all OLAP is also connected to SQL only. It's not different from that. So that is why they just find that up and they share that JD. So I think
Okay.
you will get a lot of JDs which many a times will not be suitable for your profile. It does
Okay.
happen.
Okay. And what is Seaborn? Seaborn, Amit?
So Seaborn is also one of the libraries. So like
Okay.
like we have Matplotlib, right? So I'll
Okay.
be showing you that. So like we
Okay.
have Matplot Seaborn is a library that we use for creating visualizations.
Okay. And Visual Studio, Irwin. So, I mean, these two I saw in my resume, so I'm not sure what is that.
Sorry,
Irwin, ERWIN, Irwin,
ER
WIN.
Irvin. I am also not sure of this.
Okay. And Visual Studio 2014. So
Visual
those two.
Studio is something this is we use for SSIS in the
Okay.
ETL tool that I was mentioning.
Okay.
Okay, so Irvin is some data modeling device. It's a data modeler. Just give me a second.
Okay.
So just let me just launch and camera. Just 1 second. I just opened. Okay. Like yesterday what we did was we had seen that how we can create some histogram and bar plot with the normal line chart with the help of matplotlib. So what we'll do is let's explore something more. Let's say import matplotlib. Import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. So what we'll do is let's make a chart. I mean, let's make a bar plot today. So what we do is basically now, when we make some certain charts with this matplotlib, what we do over there is we define all the things, right? We will define the structure and everything what we want. Like for example, first of all, I'm defining the figure as in the box in which that chart will be created, right? So I will say figure equal to plt dot figure. This is a function that we use, right? So figure is something that is used to define that the box in which that chart will be created, right? Then what we do is what we are basically doing is, let me just show you this and okay, now this is just this what we have designed over here is this is just a function. What it is doing is it is just taking that what do you call it as the box of that, right? The box that we create, the box in which the chart will come, that will be created. And also, before I do that, just run one more line over here. That is this matplotlib inline okay,
What
just
does
show
this
this.
do, Matplotlib inline?
Sorry,
What does this do? This you told yesterday also. What is
this creates the chart just the moment you run this. So the chart will be created over here in this
window?
next line only. Otherwise what happens is if you don't give this, the chart will open in a new window. So we don't want that chart to open in a new window. We want that chart to open in the same the page where we are. That is why we use this inline.
Okay. And another thing, if we want to see the data set, I know we can use head to see the top few rows. And but is there any other way to see data set, full data set in Python?
Just give the name of the data set, it will show the complete data set. If you will say head, it will show the top 6 rows. If suppose your data set name is the salary, just write salary and run it, it will show the complete data set to you.
Okay.
Okay. So now what we've done is you have defined figure, right? Now what this figure will do, this figure. Okay, so what this does is this now creates an empty canvas and in which we do not have any axis. Now what we do over here is we will define the axis also in this. Suppose I am defining the axis as figure dot add axis. So we say add axis. See, we are just recreating each and everything. I mean, we are building it up all the things over here. Now what we're doing over here is I'm going to add axis in this. Now when you add axis, so what we're doing over here is we define something as the range, left bottom width, height, everything, right? We will be defining the axis of that figure over here now, that how much size do we want for that. So let me show you what do I mean by this. Let me just create this. Let's put the size as okay, let's create this. I'll just explain you if anything will not be clear. Then suppose I'm creating two variables. One is suppose languages. Languages is suppose a person knows C, C++, Java and Python. Okay, and suppose I'm saying scores. These are the scores. Now what I do is I will just, this is the data that I have created to put in the chart. Now what I will do is I will simply say this axis dot, I want to now create a bar chart. Now in the bar chart, what you do is you define what do you want on the x-axis. On the x-axis, I want the languages, and on the y-axis, I want the scores that I have defined over here. And finally, plt dot show. You have to show the chart. So if you see now, this chart is created. Right? So what we have done is, if you will see these two things, right? This is just the data set, the data, right? These are the data lists that we have created, and same is the case with this. Now what we have done over here is now, this matplotlib is something that works in the form of the objects, right? It works like, what we do is first we create this thing that we want the figure that we want, that is this blank structure. Now we are defining for this blank structure what is the size of this that you want, right? So you define that what is the length, width, bottom, and everything, all the four things, and it is in the range of 0 to 1 only, right? 0 to 1 in the sense that it's like proportion. Like for example, if I show like this over here, let's make it as 0 0.1, 0.1, and let's make this as 0.8 and 0.8. Right, you see the size has changed now, right? Previously, if I now just make this 0.6 and 0.6, so the size is going to change over here. The size gets impacted. If I make this as 1, and let's make this as 0. See, you see the chart size change. Now this is basically these two things that you have. This first one is called as width and this is called as height. So width is 0.3 and height is 0.8, right? And this 1 and 1 is basically left and bottom, right? Left, how much on the left side the chart has to be, and on the bottom side. So that is what these size define over here. Now what we are doing is that this is where this chart should be visible on this, right? So let me write this up over here. Like this is the four things that you have given as an input. They are the left, bottom, and width and height. Okay.
Here, width and height is impacting like the chart you can see, but left and bottom I didn't get. Even if you change the values, it will not move the chart.
Sorry.
If you change this first value left to 5, let's say.
So if you just come this over here, 0. Let's make it
1 is the maximum value we can assign.
0 to 1. Yeah, 0 is the lowest and 1 is the maximum.
Okay.
Right. So basically, it will, what happen is basically when you define, there are some smaller charts inside this chart that you can define, inset charts. So over there, it's actually left and right gets impacted over there. So let me just show you this. So this inlet chart that will come inside this chart when we plot it. So over there, this left and bottom actually plays a role in that. Right now it is because one single chart, so it is just starting from here only. So what happens is basically we can create a chart inside this also. If you want to plot a chart, so that is where this left and bottom will play. That where do you want to keep it? You want to keep the chart at the bottom or at the top or left or right. So that is where that inside and the bottom plays.
What are those charts called which are kept inside?
So you can create any other small chart inside that. That's it.
No, but if we don't want the second chart to be inside it and we want it outside,
that will be a separate chart then altogether. Like the idea is, if on this chart only, if you want to create one more chart inside it. Suppose if I now make a chart over here like this. Let's define figure equals to figure. Then let's make a chart. Let's define the axis 1. Okay, so in that, suppose I'm saying figure dot add axis. Now what I'm doing is I'm just defining the axis for another chart that I'm going to plot inside. So for that I'm going to say axis over here. Now I will define this as just to be 0.2. So axis 1 dot, let's plot a chart on this. And for this, let's define the x and y also first. I'm just running the x and y values over here. We have y equals to, suppose I'm saying x raised to the power 2. Right, so what I'm doing is now for the first chart that that I have defined. So for that, I am saying that I want to plot x's and x and y, and I'll define the color as suppose blue. Okay, and now what I do is let's create the second chart, that is axis 2 dot plot. Okay, in this also I'm using the same thing, x and y, comma, you put it as, suppose, let me change the color as to r. So and plt dot show. See, now this chart is coming on this chart now, inside this chart. So that is where we have defined these axes now. So if you see the first chart, that the first one, the outside one, it has bigger height and width, it has smaller height and width. And when you come inside this chart right now, so what we have done is we have moved it a little on the this the left side and from the bottom, right? So it has moved left, and plus if you see from the top, it is little bottom from that chart. So that is where this is used. So if you will move this further, you make it 0.8, right? So it is going to, see, it moved up again. So this 0.8, if suppose I make it 0.1, so it is going to move like this. So it is how this, how do you want to make it move bottom, left and right? So that is where this inside the chart it works on.
Okay, can you copy this please and paste it in our chat, this whole import
This
number?
both.
Yeah, and before that also, the numpy. Thanks.
Done. So okay. So let me just show you something like that.
Amit, when initially we imported matplotlib, why did you import matplotlib.pyplot?
That's the name of that function which helps you make the charts. PyPlot.
So apart from that, there's I thought matplotlib was the library which helps us make.
So what happens is, so there are two things that we have. So let me just tell you. See, basically what happens is, like Python, you have the concept of library. One library has multiple modules in it. There are modules, and every module has some functions in it, right? So what we read, what we written was matplot was the library name, and pyplot is a module which helps you in making the plots. So we have said that in from this library we are importing that module from it, and because of that module, what happens is we get all this function, plot function, this plot function that we're using. So we get, because of that, the pyplot, the module that we have extracted from there. Okay.
Okay, and other modules in matplotlib, what are they used for?
So they are for visualizations only. So there are a lot of the modules that you have inside it. So I like every library that you use, every library has multiple modules inside there. So basically, we just use this, the library, this module of pyplot only for the visualization purpose. This is the one that we use.
Because when we import pandas and when we import numpy, we just import them as it is, like the full library.
Sorry.
When we import panda or pandas or numpy, we like fully, and we don't import. In numpy, we imported that random function, but
From NumPy also, we sometimes we do not, like when we use, when from the NumPy, if you have to just use the random library, so you can say NumPy dot random, so you just import one particular that module. So but if you want to use complete entire pandas, you can use that, just we say import pandas as PD. So in that case, complete library gets imported.
okay. But how do we? It's not possible to learn so many libraries, right? Like how does someone learn all these libraries?
So these things will come with time. So basically, they are like if you will talk about R now. Now R has 17,000 packages, right? So no one can learn those packages. It's just that some of the packages which are widely used in the industry. So we cover that only in the trainings, right? So like for example, over here we are talking about NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. I will just be talking about the Seaborn now. So these are like 80%, 90% of the time you will be using these, because every module has its own different utilities. So as you spend more and more time, and depending upon the kind of project you will be working on, so you will start getting an idea that what the different packages and libraries are used for.
And what about Spark? What is Spark? Apache Spark?
So that is something related to the Hadoop and big data.
Because there's a PySpark also.
PyCharm, your Python. So this happens when it's PyCharm and when it's PySpark that you have. So they can integrate with Python as well. So the Spark that you have, so that can be integrated with Python. So that is what you have. So like most of the things that you will find today, they can be integrated with the Python now. Okay, so that is where what we have with this Spark also, right? Basically, what happens is there is a concept of APIs, right? So
Yeah.
APIs where you have to get the data from someone else network, right? Like from Twitter, you want to pull the data, from LinkedIn, you want to pull the data. So that is where these these Sparks are used to pull the data from there.
Okay. And I didn't get one part, like what is Python used for? Because visualization, there are other like Tableau or Power BI is a lot better for easy visualization. So what is the benefit of Python?
So these are for some basic charts. If you are writing a code and you want to see how the data looks like, you want to see some, create some quick visualizations on that. So that is where you can use this, the visualizations in the Python. So that is why you see, we won't be spending a lot of time in this. Mostly people, you will be using Tableau or Power BI only for the visualization purpose. Because creating a visual using an R code or a Python code is always very time consuming. So that is why people rely on Tableau and Power BI for building visual. It's just that we have a feature over here, so we are discussing that.
But then what is Python specialized for? Like what is the craze behind Python? Why is it so widely used?
So data analysis, right? When you have millions of records to work with, so in that case, you will not the performance of the Python is very fast, and plus if you have to do the predictive modeling and all regression, so that is where all those things can be done in Python. You can't do that in the Tableau or Power BI.
Are we going to discuss those? What we can't do in Tableau Power BI?
Sorry.
Will we be discussing what those regression or what those things are?
So regression, I think we won't be doing that up. So because that will again now it will otherwise it will be it's a complete detailed stuff that is required. So I think we won't be covering, but I will try if we can talk on some basics of that,
Okay.
basics of regression and all.
Sure.
Okay. So now what we do is over here, like similarly, like you have matplotlib library, you have one more library that is Seaborn, right? So I'll just now request like if you can all just if you both install this, open the terminal and just run this up. That is conda install Seaborn. Okay, so we install this.
Amit, for installing any library like Seaborn, Pandas, NumPy, anything, this is the same procedure, conda install?
Yes. So conda install. Either you can write conda install, or you can say pip install.
What
PIP.
is what?
Pip install.
Pip install.
The
What
name of that library. So now what we do is first, as the first step, right? We will import the Seaborn as we generally use the name as SNS for that. Right? And we want to import Seaborn as SNS. So as a part of Seaborn package, what you get is there are some data sets that you get, right, in this library. So if I say tips equal to SNS dot load dataset tips. Now these are inbuilt data set. I mean, we don't have to install something for that. This comes as a pre-installed. Like it's more like how much tips were given by the different the customers who came to a restaurant, right? So when the bill was of this much amount, a person got this much amount of a tip. The customer was female, non-smoker, day was Sunday, dinner time, two people came in. So just a data set of that. Right? Suppose you want to see the head of this. So you can always say, right, we all know we can say tips dot head, right? So when I say just tips, the complete data set is given. When you say tips dot head, it will give you the first 5 rows. Okay. Now suppose I want to create a heat map, right? Heat map is something we use to see the correlation, right? Like, is there any correlation between the bill, the tips, and the size, right? Because correlation is something you can find between the numerical data only. If you want to do that, what you can do is you can simply say tips dot CORR, correlation, right? So you see right now this correlation that you can see right now, it tells you that there is a correlation between the total bill and tip, right? That is 0.6. That means if the bill is high, the tip is also high, right? And there is also a correlation that you can see between the total bill and the size. Definitely, if the more people have come up, the bill is also more, right? So this is what you can see as a correlation. You can see a correlation between size and tip. It is not that big. It doesn't mean that if the people are more, the tip will be very high. No, so we don't see that there is a big relationship. Now what we are going to do is, instead of seeing this data in the form of numbers, I am going to create a chart on this. So for that we have sns.heatmap, right? This is a heat map that is available. And what you can do is you just have to put that data inside it, and on this data you want to create your heat map. See, a heat map is created. This is a correlation chart. Rama, just give me just 2 to 3 minutes. I'll just be back.
Hello, Amit. Are you there?
Abdul, he said he'll be back, right?
Hmm?
He said he'll be back.
Wait, what?
No, he said he'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what it's been 5 minutes now. You know what I made today? Rama.
Alchivita sambar?
No.
Ah,
Varepulu.
what's that?
Varspulu. That banana flower.
Vadapu.
Varpu.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
you cleaned it well. You put the
Yeah, I
plastic.
think that I saw like 3-4 videos and I couldn't tell.
Oh.
But I put it in buttermilk and kept.
Yeah, that's the right way to go.
But I'm thinking of making either that sabzi or Varpu usli.
Okay. Usli.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I'm thinking. What is kutu?
Kutu is like we'll add with dal and coconut, cumin and chili.
Okay. That's name of preparation. Okay.
I'm sorry?
That's the name of the style of preparation. You can make
Yeah,
any.
it's like, we'll make kutu with chow chow, snake guard. So we'll cook vegetables with the dal and then we'll mix coconut paste. It's called kutu.
Okay. So then I'm going to make Varpu kutu.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you should try vada. That will be good.
Vada?
Yeah. Dal. I mean, you make vada with chana dal.
Chana dal. I don't have it soaked. I'll have to soak it then. Chana dal.
No, just 2 hours. I mean, yeah. Not two, just 2
Sorry,
hours.
guys.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So now, okay, so we are making this up. So see, what we have done is, I was showing you that we have calculated the correlation, right? Do you all understand correlation, right? Like how the two variables are related to each other. Like if one thing
I
is
have
increasing.
doubt in the correlation the table.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, because it's like both column and row. It has same, right? In correlation, tips dot.
This one.
Yeah.
So you get 3 variables. We have 3 variables. So correlation is something you can find only between the numerical variables, right? So you have 3 variables and the 3 written over here.
Okay. But you said now the higher the bill amount, the higher tip, right? So how did you make out with this table?
See, so total bill to value of correlation is between -1 to +1. Okay. -1 means negative correlation, that if one thing will increase, other thing will decrease.
Okay.
Correct? Like expenditure and saving. If you will increase the expenditure, saving will decrease. So what is showing is, it is saying that how is this variable related to this? Then how is this variable related to this? How is this variable related to this? So basically, it creates a matrix.
Okay.
Technically, if you will see, this will be 1.
Yes.
Right? Because we are comparing total bill to total bill. Same variable to same variable. It will always be 1.
Okay.
Right? If one variable will change, the same variable, if we will compare, it will always be 1.
Okay.
Either you see the values below this line or above this line, they are same.
Right.
You see 0.67.
Right. Yes,
0.6.
I noticed that. Yeah.
So they are same. So it's like we are saying, what's the relationship between total bill and tip, right? Total bill and tip, that is 0.67.
Okay.
And if you see over here, this is also the same thing, total bill and tip. So that way the numbers are same. So 0.67 means it's a positive relation, that if the bill is increasing, the tip is also increasing.
Okay. So we can assume it as a percentage. For example, one is like 100%. It's kind of the tip is like 67%.
Yeah, you can at some point, yes, you can say that.
Okay. Or minus 100, 100 minus 67. That's all.
So it will be in the minus side.
Okay.
And if you'll take a look at it now, this is a
Yeah.
on the same correlation, just that chart has been created, right? You will also see that this is also same. These diagonal
Okay.
colors are same. Below this and above this, you have the same chart.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
have
got
given
it.
you the color saturation. Darker
Okay.
the color, higher the correlation. Lighter the color, low. I mean, sorry. As the color is getting light, I mean, we are going from darker to light. So it is saying dark color means light correlation, and as the color is getting lighter, that means the correlation is
No.
increasing.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Okay. So this is, this is what a heat map is, right? Suppose if you feel that you want to change the colors in this, right? You feel you want some other color in this chart. So you can do that as well, right? So this heat map that you created over here, you just have to put something called as color map. So you say color map is equals to, you want to give the color as cool, warm. So there are some colors that are defined. So if you change that up, the color scheme will change. Cool to warm, just that color scheme. That's it.
Amit, if we don't want to see correlation between all numerical columns and just a few, then how do we do that?
Then you just make a data set with selected variables. Whichever variable you want to keep, you just make a data set of that.
Okay, so we create a data frame out of
You make
that.
a data frame and you keep only total bill and size in that. So it will show you the correlation between those two variables only.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think you had to send us some Lambda assignment also.
Okay, I missed that. I'll do it today. I'll just do it today.
Okay.
So then, you can also create some distribution plots if you want, right? So we have some distribution plots. Distribution plots are like, for example, let's use this data set only. Let me show you the chart, right? So there's a distribution plot, like how the data is distributed, right? Like name itself tells distribution plots, right? How the data is distributed. So let's make a chart on uh, SNS dot. So we have a plot that is dist plot, distribution plot. And suppose I want to make the chart on the variable that is, I'll just pick one variable, tips, budget, total bill. See, this chart is created now. This is showing me how the distribution is. Basically, most of the bills that were, generated in the restaurant, they were between around $15 to $20. And as the amount is increasing, we can see the number of bills have decreased. Okay, just a histogram.
Why is it showing number as points 0.01, 0.02 on the y-axis? So number of bills, you're saying maximum bills were $15 to $20, but if we see the y-axis, it's showing 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. So that should be the number of bills, right?
This is basically the distribution as in like what percentage, right? Like what percentage of bills are lying in that range. In the form of percentage, it is coming up.
So,
This
okay.
is percentage wise.
Amit, I'm getting a future warning. I mean, I just got the map, but
This warning comes. Sometimes this warning comes up, so you can ignore this up. So you are safe to ignore. Yeah. Right. If you want to see this output in the form of a numbers only, right? Like this right on the form of percentage that it is showing you, it is because of this line, right? So what you can do is you can just say KDE. There is something that is called as KDE. So I'll just tell you. So basically what happens is, so when you create this chart, so there is this line that comes up, which we call it as KD. This stands for kernel Internal distribution estimate. Right, so it gives you the estimation, right, in what percentage the data is lying in. So it's like a probability, right? Like for example, so if suppose if you see right now over here, this chart. So now we are trying to say that if a person comes and he says that, if you want to say that, okay, what will be the probability that the person is going to generate a bill between $10 to $20? This is the probability, right? That 50% is the probability that that person is going to generate a bill amount this bill between 10 to 20, because I can see the maximum of accounts are lying between that, and you can see there is almost like 10% of a probability that a bill will be of more than $50. If you don't want this distribution over here, then what you can do over here is you can just say KDE is equals to false. So when you make this chart, okay, now inside this, what you will do is you will say KDE equals to false and make this, right? So now you see now that estimation is gone. Now you see the count.
Amit, can you change the axis to like count to tip or size? Is that possible?
Are you able to make it?
Amit, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So can you change the y-axis instead of count? Can you change it to tip or any other numeric value?
Sorry.
No, in y-axis, instead
Uh-huh.
of now we are getting a count, right? Like
Uh-huh.
so instead of that, can we change to tip?
Can we change to
Tip, tip tips.
tips?
Yeah.
No. So that will not be a distribution plot. See,
Okay.
distribution plot is something we usually see how the data is distributed across a variable. So in
Okay.
that
Okay.
case, it will become a scatter plot. You can make a scatter plot or something like that,
Okay. Got it.
right? So like that's something that the thing that you're asking is that is called as a joint plot.
Okay.
Okay, that is a joint plot. So joint plot is where you want to see the relationship between two variables. So
Okay.
for example, if I just come up over here and let us make that up, SNS dot joint plot, two variables. On the x-axis, you are saying you want to show total bill,
Okay.
and on y-axis, you want to show tip.
Tips.
Oh, so we have not given this data. Data equals to tips. Right? This is what you will get.
Okay.
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 So you have total bill over here and tip over here.
What is the out? I mean, something outside the
Sorry.
box.
So
No,
this
they're
shows you
getting.
the distribution also. This is telling you
Okay.
distribution as well. That
Okay.
most of the tips that were given, they were in this range on the lower side, and
Okay.
this is the same distribution that we got above, right? This same chart that you see
Okay.
is created on the axis.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Amit, my whole system got crashed, so I've just joined through call, and now my system is on, but I lost all the code for today's class.
No worries.
So
Let me just share that up.
yeah.
So basically the whole idea is like, what we can also do is, these are the basically different, the visualizations that you have that we create mostly over here, right? So I think this is where, because if you would have seen, there are a lot of visualizations that we have seen in Tableau, Power BI, R, Excel, and now in the Python as well. So everywhere you will see that, these visualizations have a different idea of being used, but mostly when it will come to the visuals, you will be working with the Tableau or Power BI only, right? That the idea of working with the visuals in R and Python was just to give you a holistic idea that how the visuals are created, how you can get the things done. But it will be very less that you will be actually using that up. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So I think this is where uh, we'll take the pause, and I think this is what we have in terms of the visualizations in the Python. So we have already seen how we did the data manipulation using the pandas, the arrays, NumPy, and the basics, looping, and all. So all that stuff. So this is where I think Python also comes to this closure now. So now what I will expect from you all is like this. Please practice up all the things. Find out your the key strengths, right, Ramanath? Like which tools you feel you are really comfortable with, just make them little more strong, so that when you go for the interviews now, so you can very confidently tell that you are 10 on 10 in these two tools or these three tools. So that is what the idea would be, right? Definitely you can't be perfect in all the 4 or 5 things that we have learned. So you should be like in a situation that you can say that, okay, SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Excel, I'm perfect with, or maybe you say R, Tableau, SQL, I'm perfect with. So that is how you should, start preparing yourself now, putting more focus on the things that you know. And Python, definitely try to spend time, because Python is like has now become a requirement everywhere. So first of all, spend 2 weeks at least on Python, and then start working on the tools that you think are something you can really work upon. I mean, are your forte. Right.
So
Apart from
Amit,
that, what I'll do is I'll share some assignments and stuff with you, like we discussed. Yeah, sure, Rama.
okay. No, my question is like we should be good either in Python or R or I mean Power BI, Tableau. It's like what we're comfortable with any two of this. Will that work or?
Yes. So basically, you should. What I will suggest is your comfort level should like with this. I mean, as per the the trend that I see right now. So Power BI is in a very high demand,
Okay.
right? So make Power BI as a strong point. Make Python strong, and SQL. If you are good with these three things, then that's a perfect combination that you can have.
Okay.
And then what happened is in your resume, go that these are your strengths, and you have Tableau plus R also. That is that will become an added advantage.
If we have any doubts or doubts,
So let's do one thing. You can all take, if you want some time, you can do that. I will upload some assignments also today, and then we'll also connect to discuss certain things around like basic stuff, right? The team software, Outlook, email etiquettes. We'll talk about something related to the methodologies, agile methodology. What is it? What's that is day-to-day activities of a data analyst. Some basic stuff we'll talk around. We will talk about it, right, in one of the sessions. That is not a showstopper. So basically, it's more about a train content that is done. But others, we will connect for a session. But and you can always let me know whenever, however you would like to have some doubt sessions and all, so we can plan that out.
okay.
Yeah.
So tomorrow onwards, we won't be having any session until you tell us, like, or you plan it.
So
How do we work it out?
you can let me know like whenever you feel that you have some doubts, and you can connect one-on-one also. That is not an issue, right? We don't have to wait like everyone has to be present. Like if suppose Rama is working on something and she gets stuck somewhere, or Radhika, you get stuck somewhere, So we can connect for that as well, right? We can quickly connect over a WhatsApp call, or we can do anything to discuss that thing rather than waiting for the things to get solved.
Okay. And so then today's it then. No more classes from now.
Yeah.
We'll miss the class. It was really nice session. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks Amit for the training. And
Like I guess we started in March, right? April, May, June, July.
Yeah.
Over 4.5 months. Yep, in
yeah,
the middle, there were a lot of breaks also that came up, right? I got COVID, right? And then the health went down. So due to this, at least I guess 15, 20 days went wasted in that as well. Yep. So
Training was
definitely,
too good, and yeah, training was too good. And thanks a lot for.
sure, definitely it will be, I will consider it best, if you get, really placed quickly. So that will make it the fruitful as well. But definitely, Pawan and we were having the discussions also, like he's also like getting the things sorted. So resume preparations and the mock interviews and all those things are definitely going to help you out to get the things rolling quickly.
So mock interviews. I mean, you'll be doing it or?
Maybe me or maybe someone else also, so as to evaluate you. So there could be multiple people who can take that up.
Okay. Okay. Because you know us better, right? Like you know where we
That is a bad thing, right? So if I
True.
know that I'll ask you some questions that I'll expect that you would be knowing. When someone else evaluates us who doesn't know us, that is where the main the
Yeah,
learnings come
true.
up.
True.
Because the interviews who will be hiring you, they will also not know you. So they will ask anything to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is where we come, and definitely, so we'll stay in touch, right? And on the WhatsApp groups and everywhere. And for any doubts and all, maybe definitely we will be connecting for 1 or 2 more sessions just for the general catch.
Sure.
and we'll definitely be troubling or having some doubts. We can set up a session.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an hour session, maybe
And
half an hour.
definitely, if you go for any interview, do let me know what kind of questions and all were asked so that we can discuss on that.
Sure.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, we'll stay in touch.
Definitely.
Thanks, Amit.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.